How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to an incredibly special video. In this video, you guys have seen the title, you've seen the thumbnail. In case you guys did not know, South Africa is not really known for producing supercars. However, there was one. And this one is one of the most coolest and special cars that I've ever been graced to lay my eyes on. And today we're going to be doing a full walk around with none other than the man that was part of the team that actually created and built this thing. You guys, I'm talking about the Zagato. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys do not know who this man is right here, wow, I'm going to link a link in the description for his book, but this is Mr. Peter Lindenberg. Sir, please may you introduce yourself to us.
Thanks, Des. So, yeah, I'm Peter Lindenberg. I've got a history of being in highly competitive sport, from water skiing through water ski racing to powerboat racing to motorcar racing, and I've had my Springbok colours 39 times. Been in the Guinness Book of World Records 3 times. So yeah, I've had quite a ride.
That's insane. I mean, that's a portion of your accolades, but I think the one you're touching right now is the one that has had me chasing after this vehicle for such a long time. So how did we get here?
Yeah, so it was around 2008. My best mate Jimmy Price, who owns High-Tech Automotive in Portals, where they build the Cobra, Daytona and GT40 cars that are approved by Shelby and Superformance. He sat down with myself, a couple of other guys, and he said, listen, why don't we ever go building our own South African sports car? We need to build a supercar that's more affordable. And that was the beginning of the Perana Z-ONE, the car you see here. And it was a great experience. It was a financial disaster. And it was a financial disaster, not because the car was bad, the timing was wrong. 2008, and the world crashed economically, and yeah, I mean, the orders for the cars just weren't there. But when you look back, and I look back at this, it's like a real wow story. I mean, we were the South Africans who took a car to the Geneva Motor Show for its launch. I was the guy who sat with Jimmy Price at Zagato studio in Milan with Nori Harada, one of the best designers in the world, and we designed this car. It's crazy. And we came back to South Africa, and yeah, 18 months later we were at the Geneva, or 2 years later we were at the Geneva Motor Show with a complete car.
So how does the process of making something like this start, from the inception of your idea to this? What is the first step someone has to take to get to this?
Well, first, someone's got to think about it and say, okay, that's what I want to do, and know that they have the facility to do it, which Jimmy had. Jimmy builds fantastic cars. So the facility was there, the idea was there. We needed to raise the money, and we needed to get a car designed and work out the mechanicals. Jimmy did the work on the mechanicals, LS7 Chevy motor, and yeah, Zagato in the end designed this body with us sitting in the studio, and the car was built. And yeah, sadly it just didn't take off at that time. But it's a car that Aston Martin and Maserati copied.
Oh, we're going to get into that in just a little bit.
You look at the front, it tells you everything.
So let's just backtrack before we get to the juicy part right there at the end. So you mentioned this is an LS motor. May we just take a look at this motor?
Yeah. The whole idea was to make something that was simple. Just keep it simple. So you're not going to do much better than the LS7 motor. And yeah, Jimmy said, that's it. That's the engine we're going to use.
So this LS7, I'm assuming, is not the standard LS7. You guys probably reworked this. What are the key components that you guys really took some time?
Very little was changed from the basic motor. What you got to remember, the car is light compared to the average motor car. The car is light, and so this was basically enough grunt for this type of car. It's a car that's got supercar performance.
Supercar performance, I mean, that's insane. So this LS is mated to what we see over there as a 6-speed manual.
Yep.
And how does that drive? What is your inspiration? I mean, you could have gone with anything. You could have gone automatic gearbox, but you chose that. What is it?
We wanted to build a supercar. but a supercar that was one of those cars that was the basics. So back to call it the driver being the key. And this car doesn't have all the electronics. It has very limited electronics. So if you're not a good driver, you can make a fool of yourself. If you're a good driver, you'll get everything out of the car. And that's what we wanted.
So your first time driving this thing, after everything was said and done, designs were made, the engine was put in, and I mean, this thing looks awesome. Now, your first drive, let's just go back to that, right? You sit in the driver's seat, you start that button. What was your first thoughts going in your mind?
It's crazy. You just think to yourself, how did we do it? The first time you're like, okay, well, we built a car and it goes. That's it. There it is.
Were you shocked with seeing how your idea came to life, like with the way it performed and everything?
I wasn't shocked because I have blind faith in Jimmy, to be honest. He's a perfectionist. He knows what he's doing. And, you know, with his two sons at High-Tech Automotive, Justin and Nick, those guys know what they're doing. They build damn good cars. That's
simple as that.
And people in South Africa underestimate the talent we have in this country. This is a country with huge talent, just totally underestimated and underrated.
Completely. And I think, you know, it's quite sad, to be honest. You know, this right here, and again, like you mentioned, you know, 2008 was a bad time in the whole world as a whole, the financial collapse.
The world is upside down.
This right here had the potential to be that one car that came out of Africa and represented us all.
But it didn't.
It didn't. Now, before we even go into anything, because I mean, Aston Martin has a lot of explaining to do, because I mean, we spoke a bit off camera about this one, but this thing right here, when we went to Geneva, how proud were you to see your creation?
It was crazy. I mean, we had the boss of Bentley come onto our stand and say, how's it possible? We had top brass from Ferrari walking around saying, no, how did this happen? No one even knew it was going on. I mean, we had the top brass of the motor industry walking around this car, gawking at it and shaking their head. They couldn't believe it.
I mean, how did you keep this under wraps? Surely, I mean, those guys would have been panicking to know that a small team in South Africa is building this.
They never even knew. The car was just being built in Port Elizabeth, and that was it. The word didn't get out.
And the general reactions from everyone else at the Geneva Motor Show, how was it?
No, it was great. The people just looked at it and shook their heads. They could not believe. And they couldn't believe where the price point was for the car. The price point for the car, I mean, it's not a Ferrari. It's not an Aston Martin. It's not a Lamborghini. It's very different, but it's a stunning car.
Completely. Now, maybe just have a quick look at the interior and you just tell us, what was your inspiration with putting this together in this way?
To be honest, the interior was Jimmy all the way. Jimmy and some of his guys in the factory put something together with Norrie in terms of the design. So I can't really tell you the inspiration there. That came from Norrie. But Norrie is rated as one of the best designers in the world.
And I mean, it shows. That is quite incredible. So how many of these were actually put out on this? Because there's a video on YouTube, right? Donut Media, we're going to link them also in the description, that spoke about this. And the little hidden gems, Zagato scattered around the world.
There's 7 of them.
7. And I mean, this one's sitting right here. So do you by any chance know the current value of something like this?
I have no clue.
We're going to find out about that.
I have no idea.
Alright, so Mr. Peters, this car right here, now I'm sure everybody watching at home has seen certain design key features of this on some well-known cars nowadays.
For sure.
How did that make you feel, you know, that he puts...
Yeah, we're proud of what we did. It's just, as I said, just a pity about the timing.
Hi, buddy. Hello. So how did it make you feel seeing your design languages featuring on some very well-known cars?
So for us, it's like, yeah, you're proud of it. We obviously still are disappointed that it never took off like it should have, and it probably would have had the economics of the world been different. But yeah, it's really cool. But you know, you look at the other makes of cars that have definitely taken ideas and cues off our car, and you just say, oh well, you know what? You guys followed our lead. That's it. I'd rather be the leader than the follower. Completely.
Now, is there any hope or chance that we might see a return of this beautiful brand right out of South Africa?
To be honest, I can't see it unless there's, an investor that's prepared to put in the money that's required to get it going again. It's big bucks.
That is very true. So, I mean, if any of you guys are watching at home and you'd love to see a South African vehicle such as this, beautiful, beautiful thing, and videos don't do this thing justice, pictures don't do it justice, please comment down below or reach out to Mr. Peter Lindenberg. But sir, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure.
I'm gonna spend the next 20 minutes here just drooling over this thing. But guys, there's gonna be a lot more content with Mr. Peter Lindenberg on this channel over the next couple of days, so stay tuned. If you guys have any questions you'd like to ask him, and I mean, he's got gigabytes and gigabytes and gigabytes knowledge in his head, comment down below and we'll do a Q&A with Mr. Peter Lindenberg one of these days. But thank you guys for watching.